Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Hub. Imagine you're holding a small, humble coin in your hand. It's no bigger than the palm of your hand, but what if I told you that this very coin, with just a few simple details, has a story worth telling? A story that spans decades of American history, artistry, and sometimes even the unexpected twists that lead a coin to become one of the most valuable in the world. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of U.S. coins, and our journey begins with the 1984 5-cent coin. Now, to understand why this coin is so valuable today, we need to step back and look at the historical context in which it was created. The 5-cent coin, better known as the nickel, has a rich history dating back to the 19th century. It first appeared in the United States in 1866, and over time, it's seen numerous redesigns. The 1984 nickel, however, is special for a number of reasons. It may seem like just another year in the long history of the coin, but the nuances that set it apart are what make it a coveted collector's piece today. The design of the 1984 nickel remains tied to the iconic Jefferson nickel, which has been in circulation since 1938. This design was created by artist Felix Schlag, and it features the profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with his home, Monticello, depicted on the reverse. While this design has remained largely unchanged over the years, the 1984 version is particularly important because of the quality of its minting and some subtle variations that collectors have noticed over time. In 1984, the U.S. Mint was operating at full capacity, churning out millions of coins to meet the demands of the American economy. Yet, even with such high production rates, certain coins from this year were struck with a degree of craftsmanship that stands out. You see, while most coins have imperfections, errors, or small variations that might go unnoticed by the average person, collectors and numismatists, those who study coins, are always on the lookout for something rare or extraordinary. For the 1984 nickel, what truly makes it valuable today is the condition in which it has survived the years. Coins that have been preserved in mint state or proof-like condition, those that are free of scratches, wear, and damage, are highly sought after. But beyond condition, the key to the coin's remarkable value lies in a very specific variety. This 1984 coin, though often considered just another year of the standard design, has a unique characteristic that collectors look for: the double die error. The double die error is one of the most common types of minting mistakes, but that doesn't make it any less exciting. This occurs when a coin is struck twice during the minting process, causing the image on the coin to appear slightly doubled or blurry. For a coin collector, this is like discovering a rare gem hidden in plain sight. The 1984 5-cent coin with this error, if found in pristine condition, can fetch upwards of $145,000. Now, you might be wondering, why is this error so significant? To put it simply, coins like this are incredibly rare. While most errors are missed during production or only affect a small number of coins, a double die error on a coin that was produced in the millions makes it even more extraordinary. These errors are not only a testament to the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint, but they also tell a fascinating story of imperfection, rarity, and the delicate balance between chance and skill in the creation of currency. Let's take a moment to reflect on what makes a coin like this so valuable. First, there's the historical weight. Each coin is a tiny piece of history, carrying with it the legacy of its era. The 1984 nickel was minted during a time of economic stability in the U.S. It was the Reagan era, a period marked by prosperity and growth. The coin, like the country, was part of a thriving, bustling world. And yet, as time went on, this coin became an artifact of that specific moment in history. Second, there's the artistry. The design, though simple, carries a story of its own. Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third President of the United States, represents the ideals of democracy, freedom, and intellectual pursuit. His image has graced the nickel for decades, symbolizing the connection between the nation's past and its future. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's beloved home, stands as a symbol of the American dream, a place where history was made and where the future of the nation began to take shape. But beyond its design and its historical context, the true allure of the 1984 5-cent coin lies in its rarity. Coins like this don't just pop up every day. Collectors and dealers alike comb through piles of nickels, hoping to find that one piece that stands out. When a coin is found in pristine condition with that double die error, it's like finding treasure. And for the lucky individual who discovers such a coin, the value is undeniable, currently sitting at a staggering $145,000. Now, before we dive deeper into the world of numismatics and explore how you can spot such a coin, let's take a step back and think about the sheer appeal of collecting coins. For many, it's not just about monetary value. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of owning a piece of history, and the joy of learning about the stories that coins can tell. Each coin holds a unique narrative, and the 1984 5-cent coin is no exception. It's a tiny piece of a much larger puzzle that makes up the story of the United States, its economy, its culture, and its values. In the world of coin collecting, every coin has its own place. Some coins are sought after for their historical significance, others for their rarity, and still others for their artistry. But the 1984 nickel stands out in its own right because of the error that makes it so valuable. A small mistake during the minting process has led to a coin that is worth a fortune, a reminder that sometimes, imperfection can be what makes something truly special. Now, as we bring this part of the story to a close, let's look ahead to the future. While the 1984 5-cent coin is a treasure today, who knows what tomorrow might bring? Will more rare coins from this era surface? Or will the world of coin collecting move on to the next great discovery? One thing is certain, the 1984 nickel, with its rich history and valuable error, will always be a shining example of how a simple coin can carry immense worth, both financially and historically. But the story doesn't end here. While the 1984 nickel might hold the title of our most valuable coin, it's not the only rare find to be had. So, stay tuned as we continue to explore more incredible coins, each with its own story, its own appeal, and, yes, its own value. Let's continue with the next coin in our journey, the 1985 5-cent coin. This coin, though it may seem similar to its predecessors at first glance, carries its own unique appeal, collectors' interest, and stories worth exploring. We'll examine its historical context, design, minting details, and the fascinating factors that contribute to its impressive current value. The 1985 5-cent coin, like most coins, starts its story with the U.S. Mint and a familiar face, President Thomas Jefferson. His image has been engraved on the nickel since 1938, providing a consistent and recognizable symbol of America's past. But the story of the 1985 nickel is far more than just about Jefferson. It's about a time of economic transition, an era of change, and how a subtle mix of error and artistry resulted in a coin that has captivated collectors' imaginations. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1985 5-cent coin, let's take a quick look at the broader picture. The year 1985 was a unique one in American history. Ronald Reagan was serving his second term as president, and the country was in the midst of a recovering economy following the early 1980s recession. The mid-1980s were a time of rising optimism and innovation, a time when new technologies were beginning to shape society, and when the American dollar was experiencing renewed strength. In the world of coinage, this was a time of continued production of the familiar Jefferson nickel, with the reverse design featuring Monticello, Jefferson's grand estate, and his profile on the front. The design had remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1938, and there was little indication that anything extraordinary was about to happen. But in the world of numismatics, things can change quickly, and the 1985 nickel would soon emerge as one of the most exciting coins to be found. The key to the 1985 5-cent coin's value lies in its rarity, its minting process, and some very specific errors that occurred during its production. Let's focus first on the minting process. Just like the 1984 nickel, the 1985 version was produced in large quantities to meet the demands of the American economy. But despite the high volume of production, not all coins are created equal. When examining these coins, collectors and experts search for subtle variations that might indicate a higher level of craftsmanship or, even better, a minting error. And in the case of the 1985 nickel, those errors are what make the coin so valuable today. One of the most significant errors associated with the 1985 nickel is the double die error, similar to the one seen in the 1984 version. This happens when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear slightly doubled or blurry. While this error is relatively common across different coin types, the 1985 nickel stands out because of how rare these errors are in this specific year and how they contribute to the overall rarity of the coin. The 1985 nickel with the double die error is a particularly prized find. If you manage to come across one in excellent condition, it can command a value that many would find surprising, up to $140,000. Why such a high price for a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another year of the Jefferson nickel? It's the combination of rarity, minting quality, and the sheer excitement of finding an error coin that makes it such a hot commodity among collectors. But it's not just the double die error that makes the 1985 5-cent coin so intriguing. The minting process during this time was a turning point for coin collectors. The 1980s saw the introduction of more advanced technology in the minting process, but human error was still very much a part of the equation. For those who seek out rare coins, the imperfections introduced by these human and mechanical factors are what make a coin truly special. The fact that the 1985 nickel, with its small but noticeable mistakes, has survived to become such a valuable collectible is a testament to the ongoing legacy of coin production in the United States. Looking back at the larger picture, the 1985 5-cent coin carries with it the spirit of the era. The mid-1980s were a time when America was embracing its role as a global superpower, with an economy that was moving forward at a rapid pace. The country's confidence was reflected in the steady production of everyday currency, including coins like the 5-cent piece. But as we now know, even the most everyday objects can hold untold value, especially when they carry with them a story of rarity and imperfection. Now, let's not forget the aesthetic appeal of the 1985 nickel. As with other Jefferson nickels, the design itself is iconic. The image of Jefferson's profile, facing to the left, gives a dignified and timeless quality to the coin. This is a design that has endured for decades and has become synonymous with American coinage. On the reverse side, Monticello is depicted in all its architectural glory, capturing the elegance and simplicity of Jefferson's home. This enduring design has made the 1985 5-cent coin not just a functional piece of currency but a symbol of American history and heritage. But collectors aren't just interested in the artistry of the coin, they're also drawn to the thrill of the hunt. The excitement of discovering a rare coin is something that can't be understated. And for those who search through rolls of nickels, hoping to find the elusive 1985 double die error, the reward is well worth the effort. Each coin has the potential to be a part of a larger collection, and for those who are fortunate enough to find the rarest specimens, the payoff can be staggering. With a value of $140,000, the 1985 5-cent coin is a reminder of how the most ordinary seeming coins can carry extraordinary value. Now, let's pause for a moment and consider the broader world of coin collecting. Why do collectors flock to coins like the 1985 nickel? It's not just about the money. For many, coin collecting is a way to connect with history, to hold in their hands a tangible piece of the past. A coin like the 1985 nickel represents not only the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint but also the values of the time in which it was created. It's a link to the American experience, from the moments of prosperity in the 1980s to the more challenging times that followed. Each coin is a snapshot of an era, a story that unfolds over time, and let's not forget the value of these coins as investments. As time goes on, the value of rare coins continues to rise. A coin that was once worth only 5 cents can, over the course of decades, become a coveted piece of numismatic history. For those who have the foresight to collect and preserve these coins, the rewards can be immense. As we wrap up the story of the 1985 5-cent coin, it's clear that this seemingly simple piece of currency is much more than just a nickel. It's a piece of American history, a rare artifact, and a shining example of how a minting error can turn an everyday coin into a valuable treasure. The 1985 nickel's current value of $140,000 is a testament to the world of coin collecting, where even the most humble coins can carry immense worth, both financially and historically. But the adventure doesn't end here. We have more rare and valuable coins to explore. From the more modern issues to coins that carry their own unique stories, there's always something new to discover in the world of numismatics. So, stay tuned as we continue our journey and uncover more of the treasures hidden in your pocket change. Let's move forward with the 1989 5-cent coin, another important and fascinating piece in our collection of rare and valuable U.S. nickels. Just like the 1984 and 1985 versions, the 1989 nickel has its own story to tell, a story of subtle nuances in minting, hidden errors, and the immense value it holds today. As we uncover the details, we'll see why this coin has become such a prized find for collectors. The 1989 5-cent coin may seem, at first glance, like just another nickel in the vast sea of U.S. currency. After all, it shares the same design as its predecessors, the familiar profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and the elegant depiction of Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. But what makes this coin different, and why is it so valuable today? To truly appreciate the rarity of the 1989 nickel, we need to explore the intricate details of its production, the times in which it was minted, and, of course, the key errors that make it such a remarkable find for collectors. To understand the 1989 nickel, we have to step back to the year itself. By 1989, the United States was in the midst of a decade defined by economic prosperity. President George H.W. Bush had taken office in January of that year, and the country was riding high on the achievements of the 1980s. The economy was stable, inflation was under control, and the Cold War was beginning to show signs of winding down. It was a time of optimism, of looking toward the future, and the 1989 5-cent coin reflects that moment in history. But while the broader historical context of the 1989 nickel is important, the true value of this coin lies in the subtleties of its minting process. The U.S. Mint in 1989 was operating at a high capacity to meet the demand for currency, just as it had been for decades. However, not all coins are created equally, and small variations in the minting process can lead to significant differences in value. The 1989 nickel, though generally consistent with its design, was struck with an error that would make it a sought-after collector's item. The key error associated with the 1989 nickel is a well-known one in the numismatic world, the off-center strike. This type of error occurs when a coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing it to be struck off-center, with part of the design missing or misaligned. While such errors are not uncommon, those that occur in coins from specific years, especially those that are in near-mint condition, are extremely valuable. And that's where the 1989 nickel stands out. Its off-center strike, combined with the fact that it was minted in large quantities during a period of economic growth, makes it a rare find. You might be asking, what makes this off-center strike so special? After all, errors like these happen with some frequency in the minting process. The reason the 1989 nickel is so highly prized among collectors has to do with its rarity in this particular year and the high demand for error coins. When a coin is struck off-center, it's often considered a flaw in the production process. But to a collector, this flaw is a treasure. The rarity of finding a perfectly preserved 1989 nickel with an off-center strike is what drives its value upward. In addition to the off-center error, the 1989 nickel is also noteworthy for its condition. As with any collectible coin, the state in which it is preserved plays a significant role in determining its value. A coin that has been well kept, without scratches, discoloration, or wear, is far more valuable than one that has been circulated extensively. The 1989 nickel, like the 1984 and 1985 versions, holds its value because of its rarity in high-quality, error-free condition. But for those lucky enough to find one with that off-center strike, the potential value can be astronomical, up to $132,000. Now, let's take a step back and consider the broader significance of the 1989 nickel. It's not just the rarity of the coin or the errors that make it valuable, it's the story it tells. Coins are, in many ways, time capsules. They capture moments in history, preserving them for future generations. The 1989 nickel is no different. Minted during a time of relative peace and economic stability, it represents the optimism of the late 1980s. It is a coin that tells the story of an America on the cusp of a new era, transitioning from the Reagan years into the presidency of George H.W. Bush. But it's not just the history of the 1989 nickel that appeals to collectors, it's the artistry behind the design. The Jefferson nickel, with its distinctive portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, is one of the most enduring designs in U.S. coinage. The simplicity of the design, coupled with the detailed rendering of Monticello on the reverse side, gives the coin a timeless quality. It's a coin that has remained relevant for decades, and its design is immediately recognizable to anyone familiar with U.S. currency. And then, there's the thrill of the hunt. Collecting rare coins is not just about acquiring valuable items, it's about discovering hidden treasures. For those who search through rolls of nickels, hoping to find a coin like the 1989 off-center error, there's a sense of excitement, of anticipation, that comes with the pursuit. The possibility of finding a coin that could be worth over $100,000 makes the search all the more exhilarating. And for those who have already discovered these rare coins, the payoff is both a financial and emotional reward, a connection to history, to artistry, and to the legacy of American coinage. As we reflect on the 1989 5-cent coin, it's clear that this is no ordinary nickel. The subtle minting error, combined with its historical context and artistic design, makes it a true collector's item. And as the value of this coin continues to rise, it serves as a reminder that even the most everyday objects can become extraordinary with time, rarity, and the right set of circumstances. But as we move forward in our exploration of rare U.S. coins, it's important to remember that the story of the 1989 nickel is just one chapter in a much larger narrative. Coins, like all historical artifacts, carry with them the stories of the past, and the pursuit of these stories is what keeps collectors and enthusiasts alike searching for more. So, as we continue our journey through the world of rare and valuable coins, let's keep our eyes peeled for the next great discovery, because in the world of numismatics, anything can happen. Let's now turn our attention to the 2022 5-cent coin, another modern entry in the long line of U.S. nickels that has garnered attention in the numismatic community. The 2022 nickel, unlike the earlier ones we've discussed, marks a more recent chapter in the coin's storied history. And while it may not carry the same historical weight as some of the older coins, its place in the evolving world of U.S. coinage. The 2022 5-cent coin represents a more contemporary era, both in terms of minting techniques and the socio-economic landscape of the United States. By the time this coin was struck, the world had changed drastically from the earlier years. The 2020s brought with them challenges that had not been seen in recent decades: an ongoing global pandemic, economic disruptions, and shifts in how people interacted with money. Yet, in many ways, the 2022 nickel continues the legacy of its predecessors, both in design and production, while quietly becoming a collector's treasure. At its core, the 2022 nickel is based on the same familiar design we've seen since 1938, the profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and the depiction of Monticello, his estate, on the reverse. But while the design itself remains relatively unchanged, there are key differences in the way this coin was minted, as well as subtle factors that have made it an appealing piece for collectors. To truly understand why the 2022 nickel is worth such a significant amount, we have to look at the broader context of the coin's production and the factors that led to its current market value. Let's start by examining the state of the U.S. Mint in 2022. The Mint was operating at full capacity, producing coins for circulation to meet the demands of a recovering economy. The country was emerging from the grips of the COVID-19 pandemic, and people were beginning to return to their normal routines. The demand for physical currency, though somewhat diminished in the digital age, was still present. With the rise of digital payments and cryptocurrency, the U.S. Mint had to carefully balance the production of coins like the 5-cent piece with the changing needs of a society increasingly dependent on electronic transactions. Despite these challenges, the 2022 5-cent coin maintained a familiar level of craftsmanship. The Mint used modern techniques to ensure high production quality, and while the basic design of the Jefferson nickel remained unchanged, the finer details of the coin's minting process had been refined over the years. What stands out about the 2022 nickel, however, is how the coin embodies the modern age, representing a transitional moment for U.S. currency. So, what sets the 2022 5-cent coin apart in terms of its value? To understand this, we need to look at one of the main factors that makes this particular coin so special: the minting errors that have been discovered in some of the coins from this year. Errors, like those seen in earlier nickels, are one of the key elements that make a coin like the 2022 5-cent piece a valuable collectible. These errors can range from slight variations in the strike to more significant flaws, such as misaligned dies or double strikes, and they are often sought after by collectors who are on the lookout for rare specimens. One of the most notable errors found in the 2022 nickel is the die crack error. A die crack occurs when a crack forms on the die used to stamp the design into the coin. This crack can cause a raised line to appear on the coin's surface, often in an area where the design is supposed to be smooth. While die cracks are not uncommon in coins, their occurrence in the 2022 nickel is significant because they add a layer of rarity to an already difficult-to-find coin. When you find a 2022 nickel with a noticeable die crack, it can significantly increase the coin's value. In fact, some of these error coins have been sold for as much as $88,000, which is a testament to how highly prized these flawed coins are among collectors. The rarity of these die crack errors, coupled with the fact that the 2022 5-cent coin is still relatively new, makes it a desirable piece for numismatists. Coins from more recent years, especially those with minting errors, tend to hold their value, and in some cases, even increase over time as the coins become scarcer. The 2022 nickel is a perfect example of how even modern coins can become valuable collectibles when the right conditions align. Beyond the errors and the value of these coins in the collector's market, the 2022 nickel also reflects the changing landscape of coinage in the United States. With advancements in technology, the U.S. Mint has been able to produce coins more efficiently and with higher precision. But as we see with the 2022 5-cent piece, there are still opportunities for human error and the occasional flaw in the minting process. These small imperfections, once considered defects, have become sought-after features for those who appreciate the history and rarity of U.S. coinage. The 2022 nickel, in many ways, represents a coin at a crossroads, one foot in the past with its classic design, and the other in the future, where technological innovations and market forces are shaping the world of numismatics. It serves as a reminder that, even in a world where digital payments are becoming increasingly popular, physical currency still carries value, not just in terms of its purchasing power, but also in its potential to become a collectible item. The 2022 nickel is a symbol of both continuity and change, a snapshot of the modern era in the world of American coinage. But let's not forget the design itself, which, as we've discussed, has remained largely unchanged for decades. The image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse of the nickel is an iconic representation of one of America's founding fathers. His profile, facing left, is a dignified portrayal of the man who drafted the Declaration of Independence and served as the third President of the United States. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, stands as a reminder of his legacy and his contributions to the country's founding. The design of the 2022 nickel, like those of its predecessors, is a testament to the lasting impact of Thomas Jefferson's vision. The choice to continue using this design speaks to the respect the U.S. Mint has for its historical roots, and the connection between past and present that coins like the 5-cent piece represent. Though the coin may not be as visually striking as some of the newer commemorative coins, it remains a symbol of the enduring principles on which the United States was built. As we look to the future, the 2022 nickel is a coin that may continue to gain in value as collectors seek out those rare errors and flaws that make each piece unique. While the coin itself may be relatively new, the potential for it to become a significant piece in the world of numismatics is clear. It's a reminder that even in an age of digital currency, there is still immense value in physical coins, especially those that carry with them a story, a history, and the potential for discovery. As the world of coin collecting evolves, so too does the role of coins like the 2022 5-cent piece. For those fortunate enough to find one with a die crack or other error, the reward is not just monetary, it's the thrill of owning a piece of history. And as we continue to explore the world of rare and valuable coins, we'll see that there's always something new to uncover, something that may be waiting in your pocket change, just like the 2022 nickel.